Okay. Stay in a hostel. Stay in a hostel. They're cheap.
This is not sponsored by hostels. Hey y'all, it's Alex. So today I decided that I'm going to come at y'all with
Who is y'all? Because I'm nobody watching my stuff. I only got one subscriber. Anyway, whoever ends up possibly coming across this video.
I decided to make a study abroad's tip video just for anybody who is planning on studying abroad, who has already picked their study abroad program. You'll be able to get something from this. And if there's anything else that you may want to know, let me know down below and I will be able to answer them. The first few tips are going to be centered around packing. Packing is the biggest thing after figuring out where you're going to go. I took a big suitcase, a little miniature suitcase that was more so like my carry-on, and then I took a little satchel bag. Most people have backpacks. I just had a satchel. My luggage wasn't anything over the top. It was just a simple black suitcase. That's what I brought. I was only there for a month. Some of you all may, there's programs that go from a week up to a whole semester, up to a year, years, whatever. So it just depends on the length of your program and where you're staying, honestly. So what I would say with packing and luggage, do not overpack. Don't think that you're gonna go there and dress like a completely different person. Things I wish I knew. I took outfits that I knew I wasn't gonna wear, but I was like, I'm going to wear them. Just repeated a lot of the same things, switched up my shoes, made it look completely different, and was still cute. Especially when it came to like taking pictures. Yeah, just switched up the items. I wasn't gonna pull out a whole different outfit. So that's something I wish I knew because I would have saved space in my luggage. But at the end of the day, I didn't go over in size, so I didn't have to pay anything. So that was good. But just be smart when you're packing, especially depending on where you're going, what time you're going. When we first got there, it was raining. The whole first week, it was raining. And then by the end, we were sweating every day. Every day.
A little bit better.
The program I was with, it was for journalism. So of course I took my camera because we had to do a whole photo story along with our reporting. So my camera was Canon T6. That's the kind I brought. I know people bring smaller cameras, but for our purpose we needed a DSLR camera, and that's the only camera I have, so that's what I brought. It worked out fine. I took it pretty much everywhere with me. So for some people who are using it for like, who vlog, smaller camera may be a little bit more essential because a big camera can just weigh you down, especially if you're doing weekend trips or just trying to live your little tourist vlogger life. It can be a little challenging. You're gonna have to buy a converter that's appropriate for your country. So for Italy, I bought the 2-prong little, they're round, they're not like the little rectangular ones that we have, whatever shape they are, they're not the same. So I bought those. I will have them linked below where I got them from. It came in a 3-pack. They came in handy simply because they had the 2 and then the 3. Don't know what to call them, so the 2 and the 3. you'll see. And it made it easy for me to charge my phone and my laptop, my camera battery when I pack them. You don't need a large size of toothpaste, body wash, lotion, all of that, because you can get it in your country. Where we stayed, there was 2 pharmacies where you can get anything. So don't overpack. Get your small essentials. Oh, you can even go to the grocery stores. We went to the Conad, which was one of the grocery stores in our city. Don't overdo it. A lot of people were running out of toothpaste in the 3rd week and we only had a week left. So getting a small thing from the store, cool. Your suitcase, what brings in the most weight are your shoes and liquids. So if you have stuff like that in your bag and large sizes of it, you're gonna probably end up paying for your luggage when you have to check in your bag at the airport. Just saying. And what's the point of doing that? Save as much room in your luggage so that you can bring back souvenirs. And who just wants to lug around a heavy suitcase after you've been on a plane for X amount of hours? Because then at that point you're jet lagged. So your suitcase may not have been as heavy before you got on the plane, but as soon as you get off the plane, it's going to be 10 times heavier just because you're so tired. I know. I experienced it. Don't be that person. Make sure you are packing appropriate shoes for your country. We had a dinner when we first got there and when we were leaving. Not many of us wore heels because most of the streets were cobblestone. So you don't want to walk around in heels most of the time. We were wearing sandals. We brought sneakers. It's just about comfort. You don't have to be the baddest walking down the street because you're definitely going to stick out like a sore thumb. People know that you're American already. You don't have to overdo it. So just make sure you are comfortable with throughout your journey, especially if you're taking trips on the weekend. You don't want to only have sandals. You don't only want to have heels.
Red flag on this one right here.
Weekend trips are so fun. They are so fun. Some people plan to stay longer after the program ended just to experience more places within Italy, which is perfectly fine. A lot of people do it. So if you're going to do it, make sure you plan ahead of time if you're going to do something like that. Some people waited until a week or 2 into the program. For weekend trips for myself, I waited until I got there. Once I got to know some people. It's better when you're planning with other people and you can get people to take your pictures, just saying. But when it comes to planning those, make sure you have to find how you're gonna get there. A lot of transportation in European countries is by train, bus, and if you're trying to go somewhere a little further, you can take a plane. We didn't do anything like that, but the bus and train are gonna be your best friend. And we were in Venice, we were on boats all the time. So make sure that you have money to plan for those. We went through Trenitalia for our train, of course. The bus system, I don't remember what it was called, but we had a bus system that ran throughout our city. So we would hop on that bus and it would take us to the next city, whatever cities were closed, and that's how we would get to and from different areas outside of just Urbino. For stay, some people did Airbnbs. When I traveled to Venice, we did a hostel, and the hostel was really, really nice. It was on an island that was so quiet, not many tourists, which was always like a good thing, because when you go to San Marco in Venice, it is crazy packed with tourists. You feel like you're claustrophobic, but it was okay. It was fun. We found like a little city in Venice not a little city in Venice. We found a little area in Venice that was really chill. We met this famous printmaker. Amazing time. So be smart about where you're staying. Look into it a little bit more instead of just buying the first thing that you see. Expectations. It's always good to set some expectations, but I wouldn't set them too high where if things go wrong, you're upset and it ruins your whole study abroad trip. So it's okay to have some, but be lenient. When I was talking about weekend trips, some people like to have an itinerary set up and try to see everything within that city. But you gotta remember, you're probably only gonna be there 2 to 3 days depending on how you plan your trip. And it's okay if you don't see everything. Don't try to cram everything in. Sometimes you just need to soak in the moment, and if you only see one thing on your itinerary, that is perfectly fine. You just need to be able to enjoy what you're seeing, because you can always come back. At some point in your life, you can come back and see those things that you didn't get to see while you were there the first time. But don't get upset if you can't see everything. It's okay. It's perfectly fine. What do I talk about money? Don't spend all your money just because you're abroad. Be smart, set a budget for yourself. That's what I did. I took a certain amount of money and still had some left at the end of my program. A lot of people get a little carried away when they go abroad because the drinking age may be different from where they're coming from. So here where I stay, it is the drinking age is 21, which it is in most states in the US. But abroad, when we were in Italy, it was 18. So some people can get a little ahead of themselves. And you don't really want to be that person. You know that you're not local to the area. So it's a little easier to get yourself caught up in something that you really don't need to be caught up in. Have fun, but be smart about it. Because at the end of the day, you're there for your program. So you don't want anything stopping what you're really there for, just because you're trying to live in the moment and drink legally while you're abroad. Not legally, because it is legal there. But you know what I'm saying. A living situation. It may not be the best. The places that you're living in are probably going to be a little bit older than what you're used to. But don't sit there and let that stop you from getting the best out of your experience. And even if you're living with roommates. Fortunately, I didn't have a roommate when I studied abroad. So I had 2 beds, cool. But don't let that situation, like a bad roommate situation, stop you from having fun, because there's other people in your program that you'll get to know while you're there and you can hang out with them. Last thing I want to talk about is the language barrier. You're going to a different country, and yes, they may be used to study abroad groups coming in, but don't expect them to speak your language. I feel as though if you're going to a foreign country, you should be taking the initiative to try to learn their language. Of course, you're not going to be fluent. Some people may be, but if you're not fluent, that's fine. But still, just know how to hold some kind of conversation, some small words that'll help you get around easier. My program, they did a language class, and I say that very loosely because we only took the language once, and then we did history like another time. But it's about picking up little small things, knowing how to greet somebody, tell them your name, different things like that. It makes them smile when they see that somebody from another country is coming and at least trying to communicate with them in their language, instead of trying to force everybody to speak your language. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's just my 2 cents on that. Those are just a few of my tips for studying abroad. I may do a part 2 for those who tuned in. If you tuned into this video, tune into that video if I decide to make one. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to me. So yeah, thank you. Peace.
Do me a favor, pick me up, baby.